Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Revere City Council meeting. And please rise, salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call of the members. Councilor Arrigo?
Here.
Here. Councilor Correggio?
Here.
Here. Councilor Janino?
Here.
Here. Councilor Guanasso?
Here.
Here. Councilor Haas? Here. Councilor Patch?
Here.
Here. Councilor Penta?
Here.
Here. Councilor Powers?
Here.
Here. Councilor Reardon?
Here.
Here. Councilor Zambuto?
Here.
Here. And Council President Novoselsky?
Present.
Here. Quorum is present. Calendar item, approval of the journals of the meeting of July 22nd, 2013.
Are there any changes or omissions or additions? Hearing none, motion to approve as submitted. All in favor? All opposed? Vote and so ordered.
Calendar item number 1, joint meeting of Verizon, Comcast, and National Grid to discuss ongoing utility work.
Good evening, gentlemen. Name and address for the record, please. Push the button on the mic. There you go.
Stan Yusevich, Verizon, with offices at 63 High Street in Danvers.
Tim Kelly, Comcast Government Affairs, with offices at 55 Concord Street, North Reading, Massachusetts, 01864.
Does anybody know what happened to Mr. Cameron today?
He didn't check in.
He didn't check in with us. We'll dock him his pay. Anyway, I do want to say in advance thank you again for your monthly cooperation, and I think we're moving in a right direction. A lot of the councilors feel comfortable what's going on. I've passed out the latest PLM for them, and at this point, you want to give us a quick update of things?
Yeah, the pole of greatest concern right now is the one that's at the Revere, Paul Revere School, and I had sent our crew out. Tim had sent a crew out as well. Tim was able to remove his cable. Our inspector showed that there was still a traffic signal, fire alarm, and a private fiber attached to that particular pole. We do believe, however, that the fiber is part of the school department network, and we'll be working with the city to get those entities to move on that pole before too long.
Thank you. Councilor Guanasso, if you will. Mike, please, Councilor.
I had a copy of the email that was sent in reference to that, where you mentioned the fiber and the fire alarm and the traffic light.
Right.
The traffic light is down there also, and it's my intention is I have to reach out to the mayor's office to see why it's taken so long to get that light on. But is there any reason why we should be concerned with that in connection to what you've been reviewing?
No, it's just it has to be transferred onto the new pole. That's all I.
The traffic lights?
Yeah, the traffic light actually comes down into a secondary electrical cable.
Because the signal's not working. I don't think it's functional at that site, and that's what.
At some point, someone's going to take that light either off or make it live by transferring it.
And that's the holdup. It's within the city of Revere.
That's correct.
Did you hear that, Councilor?
I did. Thank you very much.
Councilor,
because I know
Madam Vice President, do you have any comment?
I know she's been in. My colleague, Jessica Janino, has been concerned about this also, and we want to see it happen, especially whereas the school year begins on Wednesday, and so we want to be certain in the dark days of November, unfortunately, that it's enough illumination there for everybody to see what's going on, and that double pole to be removed.
Councilor, the greatest help that you could lend us is to make sure that the school department is contacted so that if it is their fiber, that they move it, because I'd hate to have that being the only item that delays us from taking the pole.
So noted. We will take care of that.
Thank you.
And I asked the clerk if she would, Madam Clerk, if you would follow up on that with the school department in reference to removal of any on the double pole located in front of the Revere School, that they assist Verizon, National Grid, and Comcast in this effort? Thank you, Mr. President.
Madam Vice President,
Thank you, and thank you,
because this is
Councilor.
your issue also.
Yes, thank you, and I'm glad that this is being addressed, so thank you guys so much. So I know it's something that we brought up at the start of school last year, so I'm glad the kids this year will have a safer environment thanks to you, so thank you very much.
And just as an FYI, I'm glad you brought that up first, because I forwarded you the emails from these gentlemen as soon as I found out, because I knew that was your issues, and I know that's something that the city has to work on to get Bellafato Electric, because they're the ones that move traffic light stuff. So I know they're the vendor for that, so that's something that DPW will have to get involved with also. Okay. Councilor Correggio, do you have something on the same one? On the same issue? No. Councilor Penta.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I want to thank you for the update on the list also. And Stan, this question basically probably be to you. I was just looking over the list. It seems like the electric is dropping the ball here. I mean, they're behind. I'm looking at some poles that have been there for, I don't know how long, and the ball's still in their court. I mean, the fire alarm, at least the ones in my section, seem like they're all off, except for maybe one. They've came a long way. I'm looking at 2 on Wilson Street that I gave you tonight for 4 different ones, but 2 particularly on Wilson Street, they're almost the total opposite. The poles are on the same street, very small street. One of them is just about at its end, and the other one's just starting. It doesn't, and then it seems like it's stuck in electric. Any answer for that?
Yeah, based on the list.
Excuse me, sir. Welcome to our
Yeah.
little party here. Name and address for the record.
Dan Cameron with National Grid with offices in Malden at 170 Medford Street. Yes, based on the list itself, we clearly have the most balls in court. There are some of these that have, in fact, been transferred. We're in the process of auditing that right now. But as I've said at this fall, we have a lot of resources committed to we're about 89 polls right now. Starting in September, there'll be a lot of movement on getting all of our transfers done. All right.
The update, like I said, the council president took it upon himself, and I'm glad he did, and gave us all an update, which is up today. And I'm looking, I mean, you're holding everybody up.
I understand.
And, it's not fair to us to have these other guys come every month, and, us asking why aren't they done. They can't get done until basically you get it out of your court. And there's some of these here that, I mean, these are 2 years old. This is, it's actually unacceptable. I mean, it's crazy. I got some at Crystal Ave. I don't want to go down the whole list, but, I mean, there's some that just haven't been touched by electric. There's a problem, an issue here.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'd like to see this thing rectified by the next meeting we have here. If not, I mean, I'm looking to probably send out a fine to the electric company. I mean, something has to be done. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilor Correggio.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sir, I only have 2 small things. A pole on American Legion Highway and Revere Street, right across from Blanchard's. I guess that's a double pole. It's been there for quite a while. I don't know what the status is about that. Actually, it's in the vicinity of Bonfilio Funeral Home between Pomona and American Legion Highway.
Councilor, do you know the poll number? Because that's important, because they got like 6
Yeah, I could
six
get back
polls
to them.
on
I could
Revere
get back
Street.
to them with the poll number. I can get back to you with that. And the other thing is Lee Street, I guess, in the corner of Ambrose Street. I guess the light is cycling. It goes off and it goes on. I guess the people have been complaining about the street light. I guess they call it cycling. It goes on and off or something.
Okay, Lee Street.
Yeah, I think number 8 Lee Street. Corner Ambrose.
Ambrose.
Ambrose Street, yeah. That's it. Thank you.
Councilor Patch.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dan, on Clifton Street, 15 Clinton Street, pole number 2832. It's been over a year, hasn't been touched. And also, I think when Verizon put the pole in, they put a children's safe sign on the new pole, and they blocked it so nobody can see it. They said it was DPW that moved it, but they claimed they didn't. So I don't know. If it was already on the old pole, you wouldn't put it on the new pole?
No, we don't do
Yeah.
All right. So I'd have to get the DPW to do that?
Yeah.
But would you, you're
Yep,
the one
got
that's
it.
holding everything up.
Yep, 2832 on
National
Clifton
Grid
Street.
is on Clifton. And what else I got here? Charger Street, Verizon, you completed one. It was two poles, two double poles. One you completed, and according to this, you still got one to do. Pole number 5153.
Yeah, they both seem to be work that is in Verizon's ball and court. I will tell you, typically what we like to do is the whole street at once, and they're both together, so...
Am I wrong when I see a C?
No, you're exactly right.
Huh?
You are exactly right.
That one hasn't been taken out?
That one's ready to be taken out. The one below it is ready to be transferred and then taken out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So you're right. Both those poles can be moved by Verizon.
Okay. Also, I got on Sigourney Street. That's cable, holding that up, I believe. 3 poles. Pole 2866, 2966,
Yes,
2966, and 2962.
It's kind of a good news story here.
Pardon me?
I said this is a good news story because
What's
we
that?
have about 30 polls, ball and court, which is probably the most I've had since I've been here.
Yeah.
83% of those we got 19 days ago, which means somebody's moving somewhere, maybe fire alarm. So this is a good thing.
Right.
This isn't bad.
That's good.
And we'll get right on them.
You're really, no, I have no problem with you.
Right.
Seriously.
No, but I mean, it's
But
a
I
good
just see
story.
I see the B there, that's all.
Yeah. Well, we just got them 19 days ago, so
And
we'll get on them.
also on Squire Road, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Some of them might be in my good counselor, Counselor Granasso's ward, I'm not sure, but also I think one of them is, one's fire. I believe cable, you got a couple. And one is National Grid, or 2 in National Grid. On Squire Road, you did a big job there. I think you did Sigourney, then you did along Squire Road. You got them there? National Grid, pole 3455 and 5159 and 5160, National Grid. Cable's got pole 653 and 2968. Is that? I usually leave you guys alone, but I...
No, Counselor, that's fine. I just need to reiterate that these are 19 days old. We just got them,
Okay,
which means the process is moving
So-
along, and
next month I'll be a very happy guy.
get right out to our folks, and they'll get done, hopefully before I see you next time.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
That's all I got. Thank you, Mr. President.
Council Powers.
Thank you, Mr. President. Several issues tonight. First of all, on my way to the meeting this evening, I noticed a pole down near Riverside in the Point of Pines section on North Shore Road that I think if a young man came along and gave it a push, it would be in the middle of North Shore Road. So I would seriously suggest that someone from either National Grid or Verizon or both take a look at that pole before we have...
What pole is it, Council?
I don't have the number. I was on the other side of the highway.
It's on North Shore Road. It's a single pole?
It's between Mills Avenue and John Avenue, probably midway on North Shore Road in the northbound lane. And it's a very precarious position. If someone were to just...
So it's leaning?
Yep, leaning severely.
Okay.
And I think in the interest of public safety, someone should take a look at it and address
I'll ask our
the problem
people
if it's
to
there.
take a look at it tomorrow.
Okay, now, double poles. Pole number 3819 on Gilbert Avenue. Fella says it's been there for a couple of years. There's also probably another 30 in Ward 5. But that one there I got a call on, and I'd like to have that addressed.
Is it Gilbert?
Yep. Gilbert Avenue at the corner of North Shore Road. Now, I believe Bob Coulter, I spoke with him regarding that situation at 341 Rice Avenue, and my understanding is that there are 3 different directions in which he can go, and I'd like to know, that really doesn't matter to me or to the person that has the property, that has the pole in their yard. They just want to get the pole out of their yard. So I would hope that, this is something that we could expedite before too long, make a determination as to where the pole should go. I know there was a question of whether or not they could put the pole in the house next door in that yard. I gave Bob the names of the people that were involved, and to date, neither of those people have been contacted with regard to having that pole relocated. So that's something that's been going on, as we all know, for quite some time now. I think I know the engineers were out there. They came to an agreement with regard to ownership of the pole, where it could go, 3 different locations, and really doesn't matter to the owner of the house or myself. They just want to get the pole out of their yard, and I think it's been there for quite some time.
You still on, Council?
Yes, I am. Thank you. And the other issue, coming off of 1A, going on to the Linway, the lights have been out. The overhead lights have been out in that area probably for, I know, 5 or 6 weeks now. And you're going to have the only light down there, unfortunately, or fortunately as it may be, is the overhead light from G&J Towing. That's the only light people have coming off of that road there, and it's very dangerous. And I think that's something that really needs to be corrected ASAP.
Again, it's Route 1A on to...
You're coming off of Route 1A, going on to the Linway. That whole section there adjacent to G&J Towing, those lights are out, and I believe a couple of them are out on the bridge too.
Is there construction going on down there?
There's construction going on the Jim Ledwards Bridge, yes. But there should be some way, if that's affecting those lights, that they can put temporary lighting down there for the safety of the general public.
Okay. All right. Do you know if those... I'll follow up on it, but do you know if they've been reported?
I've called on them, and nothing
Okay.
has been
All right.
done yet. But
Okay.
I think it needs a follow-up call, and I think it needs on a fast track. And then I have one other issue. I'm very pleased that Council President Novoselsky has put this out this evening. However, the one thing that you can't determine by looking at this list is how long the double pole has been there. And that's, I can look at this list. Some of these may have been here for
Councilor,
3...
that's something that you should take up with the fire department. They can generate additional lists for you.
As to when that pole was hit?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
And they can do that under the read-only segment of the database.
I certainly will, because we're sitting here, we're looking to list. The pole may have been there for a year, a week, a day,
Right.
5 years. No, we don't have any way of telling. Mr. President, I'm all done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Counselor. Meeting adjourned. No.
My favorite
Counselor
motion.
Reardon.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just going to follow up, fellas, a little bit on the my brother Councilor Powers' complaint about this list. As I understand what you just told me, this format is generated by the fire department.
It can be generated by the fire department. It's an independent database that all the utilities pay into to generate, but the city of Revere has access through its fire department, so you can generate, you can ask them to generate what you would like.
Okay, is the information available, as my brother has requested, as to when the pole became a double pole? Is that available to the fire department?
It may be in their read-only category.
Maybe, or
I'm
you
not
don't know.
sure.
You're not sure. All right. Is the information as to when the utility whose court the ball is in has hit the ball back? Is that date available in
I've not seen one in that database that would tell you that. All the utilities are currently exploring a new system that would allow us to, for instance, track just that, and also have a video display of each pole, so that if there's a question that people could go in and take a look at. We also want to make it more user-friendly for the municipalities. So that's currently being viewed. So I would suggest to you that probably within a year, that sheet that you have in front of you will be very different.
Well, I'll tell you something. That couldn't happen fast enough, because as an empirical measure of what we're trying to determine here, this is almost completely useless. All this does is tell us what the situation is of today. It doesn't really tell us when it started or where it's progressed. And without knowing that, we can't determine what a reasonable time frame is for these things to have happened, except by the fact that we take notes on these things and check them out. And I mean, it really, I applaud the efforts of the utilities if they are in fact putting that effort together to make a better and more productive database. That would be much better than what we have right now. Thank you.
Councilor Patch, your point of information.
Stan, isn't it true? I mean, the ball starts when you put the pole in. So isn't there a work order when the pole is put in?
That's correct.
So isn't that information available to you?
There is somewhere in the neighborhood of 30,000 work orders that are generated, so tracking those becomes very difficult, but placing them into the database makes sense. This exercise for all the utilities here is really about a singular community that is part of our larger footprint. And what we've tried to do is accommodate you as much as we possibly can. Can we, design a system that solely works for Revere? Perhaps, but it comes at an effort of everybody else. And we've made, I think, great progress here over the past 2 years, and we want to continue to do that. I understand that you'd like more information, and that's why I'm referring you back to your user, and maybe there's a way that they can take a look at what they have in front of them and what they might be able to generate for this council. In addition, I think to be honest and fair, we like to do things in bulk, as Tim had commented. There's some work that's in his ball and court right now. I anticipate that will move very quickly into Verizon's ball and court, as it always does, coming out of Comcast. So that allows us to take a look at sending a crew in on a concentrated effort over a course of a week or 10 days to clear our things. Dan has already stated that they'll be looking at it in the fall. So all those numbers that N-Grid starts to generate will move towards us. And what we've been trying to do is do these in bulk so that no one has to, pick one or two and move from street to street in an inefficient way. We're trying to do it all at once. And I think that's what we've finally gotten to as a result of these meetings.
Well, that is all fine and good, but I mean, it's some of these I understand from my colleagues that they've been 3 years on the list.
No, I understand what you're saying. And we're trying to clear up what's in front of us, which is, I mean, we're trying to look ahead, not back. And that's
Granted,
important.
we're doing much better.
Zambudo first. Councilor Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr. President, and looks like it's Dan's turn on the barrel this week, but, you know, I heard a lot of comments here tonight. I'm someone who was passionate about double poles way back, and I'm just thrilled with how far we've come. Now, could the database be better? Absolutely. But guess what? I think we've gotten a lot of attention, and we certainly have a lot of cooperation now, and we're moving in the right direction. So I'm very pleased with the results, and I want it to keep going in that same direction. And forget about what's, you know, yeah, we've still got some poles that are 2 and 3 years old, but we're clearing them up, and they're going to be gone soon. So keep up the good work, and I'm very pleased with the progress. And if it starts going in the other direction, then I become a meanie, but not right now. I'm very pleased with the progress. Keep it up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Guarnesso.
Thank you, Mr. President. Dan, last meeting we spoke in reference to the big hose that was coming out of the side of the pole on Hutchinson Street where I was inhibiting the person from driving her automobile out of the driveway. Came and he told me that, and they did do something about it. They put it towards the street in the middle of the sidewalk now, so it impairs the pedestrians walking the street. She can get out of her driveway, but for the life of me, that's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. To see this big black tubing stick out on the sidewalk. I mean, that's what they.
I'll have to look at it. I mean, I was told it was taken care of, but I didn't know. So you're saying they just flipped it to the other side of the pole?
They got a black wire. They tied it around. It's like, okay, let's satisfy this jamoke and just turn it sideways so she can get out of her driveway. How about correcting the problem by putting that right down the side of the pole and not look at it's absolutely insane to look at that.
What was the address again?
I don't have it off the top. It's 1263 pole number. There's only 2 poles on Hutchinson Street, and this is right adjacent to St. Anthony's Church.
Okay.
And there's a lot of pedestrian traffic in that area, and to me, it's absolutely. To me, it's an insult that they did it that way. That they thought that would be suffice, and I would be satisfied that big bubble would be on towards the sidewalk rather than blocking her driveway. It's really not
I'll have to look into it again. I mean, we reported
if you go down and see it, you'll see for yourself.
It could very well be it's not ours, and we could have reported it to another company.
However, it almost gets me to the point where I want to get if I didn't get electrocuted, I'd cut it off myself. Yes. Thank you.
All set.
Thank you.
Councilor Penta, next to last one.
Thanks. I'll be quick. I know Mr. Kelly come up and said he had 19 days ball in court for these things. So there is a date track on these when each individual get them. And I know cable, Mr. Kelly, I don't know how you do it, but maybe you can help out Dan a little bit because all the yours are, they're done on a fashionable time. I mean, in a reasonable time. And, I'm looking at this, and I keep copies of this, and it's basically unacceptable. Mass Electric has dropped the ball, as far as I'm concerned, the ball being at court. And like I said, next month we'll see how far you come with this. And I'm not saying you haven't come a long way since we've had you come up here. It was actually my motion to ask you people come up here once a month, and I think it has gone a long way. But, sometimes we drop the ball here, and, we keep praising you, but this is totally unacceptable. And I'll check with our fire department because I know he's been gung-ho on his. And, sometimes it's good to find out where the ball actually is and see who's holding everybody up. And right now, there's no question about it, it's Mass Electric. I mean, it's black and white. So we'll see 30 days from now how it is. Thank you.
Okay, my turn. Mr. Cameron, you're on my target list tonight.
Blake Street?
And unfortunately, you're on everybody's target list tonight, but Blake Street, 1169, that's that it's a single house pole, it's not a main line. They're waiting for the street light to be moved and
Yep.
from his house.
Both of those that you asked me about are going to be taken care of.
Okay.
If not this week, next week.
And I know we have a new pole on Charles Ave. James Street, pole 727. That's going on 2 years now.
What street?
James. And I believe all it is a street light to be relocated. And then the pole can come down.
Just the street light? Okay.
It's a street light, yeah, to be relocated. And pole 1526 on North Shore Road. That's a pole that was put up 5 years ago and is yet to be touched. And now Revere Beach Parkway, pole 48. It shows that nobody is on ball and court. Is that a Mass Electric pole or a Verizon pole?
Yeah, it could be you.
It's at the top of page 3,
Okay.
4.
Yeah, we see it.
So if you can check that one out. And I see you got rid of pole 41s, which is, as far as I know, is good to go. And VFW Parkway, pole 743, electric ball and court, and pole 414, electric ball and court. Now that 414 is right at the Dunkin' Donuts at the intersection of Beach Street.
Yeah,
Revere Beach.
that's not in the database, correct?
I know it. No, it wasn't last time. It is now.
Oh, it is?
It is. It's in the latest one I just got from Stan.
Oh, okay.
414. That's the one where telephone already moved their wire before electric. Excuse me.
Okay, I see it.
So, that's a strange one. I know it's a major line going across, and like I said, telephone already moved theirs before electric and cable. So, I know it's your ball and court anyways, but it should be starting from the top,
Right, yeah.
if I'm correct.
No, I understand. Yep.
So,
It's right by the Dunkin' Donuts. I
Exactly.
saw it on our map, but when it wasn't in the system.
okay, cool. So with that, I thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
I think everybody's pretty well covered. Thank you for your time again. And hopefully when you come in next month, we will have a lot more progress to report. And thank you, Mr. Kelly, for all your stuff. And Stan, thanks for the copies. And again, if someone, I guess, Stan, you seem to be the leader at PAC here, like the Friday before the meeting, could you send us a copy of this?
Yeah, what I'll do, Mr. President, is as soon as I get the notice that the meeting will take place, I'll generate a copy of the list.
Please do.
But anything specialized out of that list, if you could go to your fire department and they can look at the read-only section and try to figure out what you need.
Which I do on a regular
Yeah.
basis. I
Okay.
shoot him an email, let him know. I send him this, and I know he can get it.
Yep.
But just as a reminder to let him know that it's
Exactly.
coming up.
But there may be an effort that they can extract for the council on, dates and ball and court times that, quite honestly, we don't deal with in operations. We look at what's in front of us. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Calendar item number 2, hearing called is ordered upon the proposed ordinance amending Schedule A2A of the revised ordinances of the City of Revere.
Okay, gentlemen, this is a hearing for the amending the payroll of the city clerk, separating the city clerk and the parking clerk. Are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Are there any proponents? Hearing and seeing none. Outside of the hearing is closed. Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Hearing or seeing none, I close that side of the hearing. Councilors? Anybody? Okay, we cannot vote on this tonight. It has to lay on the table for one meeting. Hearing or seeing then no comments from our councilors, we'll lay this on the table for committee of the whole for the next meeting.
Calendar item number 3, hearing called is ordered upon the application of Robert Mahoney of Mahoney Builders for the purpose of considering the discontinuance of a certain portion of Austin Street, Revere, Mass.
Proponents, name and address for the record, please.
Robert Mahoney, 2 Paul Street, Revere. Again,
Tell us what you want to do, sir.
Yeah, I represent Richard Street Realty Trust, and we're asking the council to discontinue a portion of Austin Street, which consists of approximately 8,210 square feet. The plan that I submitted when I put the application in, the square footage was slightly off, and I wanted to submit an updated plan, if I may. I gave you something extra.
I'm sorry?
I gave you something extra. The plan that I submitted on parcel C was around 1,500 square feet, and the corrected square footage is 1,622 square feet, which changes it from, I think, 7,800 to 8,200 square feet. And it's broken into 3 parcels. Parcel A, which is 4,082 square feet. Parcel B, which is 1,065 square feet. Parcel C being 1,444 square feet. And parcel D, 1,622 square feet. And we're asking to abandon that area of Austin Street.
So it's only a portion of the of those lots.
Yes, the portions that we're well, I think if we abandon the whole area, well, even a portion of it, the portion, I think half of it goes to the city of Revere and the other half goes to the parcels that are there.
That's correct.
I think, yes.
Okay. Is that it, sir?
That is it, yes.
Okay. Are there any other opponents? I mean proponents. Any other proponents? Any other proponents? Hearing and seeing none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Any opponents? Are there any opponents? It's up in North Revere there. Yeah. Are there any other opponents? No. Hearing and seeing none, we'll close that side of the hearings. Councilor Patch.
Thank you, Mr. President. I happened to be up in the area and saw Bob working up there, and I stopped to look over the what he's doing up there, and he's doing a pretty good job. You'd be surprised. It's really up in. It's hard to find, but it's I don't know how you find them, but you found a nice little spot there. And I just want to wish you good luck on getting this done. That's all. Thank you.
Councilor Guanasso.
In review of this, not having knowledge about, talking the different breakup of it, wouldn't it be prudent to have a city engineer look at this also to see if he agrees with what I understand Mr. Mahoney's doing. He's doing a great job. He always has. But I think just for the safeguard of our protection, can we get someone with knowledgeable background in this particular?
The engineer has looked at it and seen it. I've been to site review.
But I don't know that. He has to. What I would like is a sign off from the city engineer to say he has reviewed the proposal and he feels comfortable with it, and that gives me an assurance that I could go forward with somebody who knows how to read this intelligently to be able to best respond to your request.
Okay.
Hello?
Says Council?
I'm all set.
Okay.
I'd like the city engineer to...
I agree with you. He should be signing off on this. Councilor Arrigo, Ways and Means? Okay. We'll put this in Ways and Means to discuss the next meeting, because we can't vote on it tonight anyway.
Okay.
So we're going to put it in the Ways and Means Committee, and he'll have a meeting probably middle of September. Okay. And we'll call you back for that meeting, and
All right. Thank
we'll
you.
discuss it in more detail.
Okay.
Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hearings, this will be Ways and Means Committee.
Calendar item number 4, hearing called is ordered on an ordinance further amending Section 5.04.110 of the revised ordinances of the City of Revere relative to civil fingerprinting.
Are there any proponents? Name, address, and height for the record, please.
Good afternoon. Sergeant Janino, Revere Police Department, 14 Segretti Street. The reason I'm here is back last June of 12, this council passed an ordinance requiring fingerprinting for certain civil jobs, hackneys, peddlers, secondhand pawn dealers. The only problem is the state will not accept it the way it's written out. We could fingerprint these people. The fingerprints go in a file in a drawer in my desk. Can't be submitted. We talked with the state, myself, Madam Clerk, Sergeant Levita, State Police, and the AG's office, and they're requesting that we rewrite the ordinance by adding a simple line to Section E of the current ordinance, which is going to be by policy and procedure consistent with DCJIS, the procedure. That's all we have to add to this ordinance to get accepted by the state so we can file these fingerprints for these people and see who they are. A year ago, in order to go door to door in the city, all they had to do was call the station up, say, I'm going to be going door to door in your neighborhood. Back last June, we had a company come to Revere. They were going door to door harassing everyone in the city. Lieutenant O'Hara got together with myself and Sergeant Levita. We made a policy for Revere requesting the fingerprinting and a whole background check down these people. By implementing this policy here, we get rid of a company. The company went to Lowell. I got a phone call from Lowell last week. One of the people that was in Revere in June was picked up and arrested in Lowell as a sex offender and was arrested for a indecent assault and battery on a senior citizen up there. So and I'm trying to get this done as soon as we get it done so I get these background checks done the right way. The state turned around last year and required ice cream men to be fingerprinted. Our policy does not require that. Because we don't require it, we can't submit them prints either. We have been printing them. We have run background checks on them, and they're sitting in my drawer. I will not license them unless they come to me and get printed in the whole 9 yards, but we cannot submit the prints right now as it stands. The new ordinance change will allow us to submit them through the Attorney General's office to the State Police Crime Lab, to the FBI to find out if there are records of these people. We licensed 21 people from a security company back in the springtime. A full background check's done on them, could not submit the fingerprints on them. But because of the application process we implemented with the door-to-door solicitors, the checks were done anyways. They signed off on them, they agreed to them, everything was done, we knew who these people were, there were no records on these people. And all I'm asking the council to do is to approve the new ordinance changes, adding the ice cream men and the line about policies and procedures as opposed to rules and regulations. And if we could do this here as soon as possible, it would be appreciated. Thank you. Any questions?
We'll ask questions later. Right now, we're just open for a public hearing.
Nothing for me?
Nothing for you.
I'm sitting down.
Not yet. Sit.
I'm sitting down there.
Are there any other proponents? Are there any other proponents? Are there any other proponents? Hearing or seeing none, close that side of the hearings. Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Are there any opponents? Hearing or seeing none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Councilors, we're going to put this on public safety. Unfortunately, we cannot vote on it tonight because state law. So hopefully the Chairman Powers will hold a meeting prior to our next council meeting. And we'll clear it up that night. Okay, Councilor Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to simply thank Sergeant Giannino for his hard work, and this is something that's really important. This is one time I wish we could pass something the same night, but we can't by law, so we'll wait a week and hopefully we can pass it then. But again, thank you for your hard work. Appreciate it.
Councilor Correggio.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I think it's important that we move on this quickly as possible and get this language in place and adopt this fingerprinting. That way it gives the residents of Revere better protection. Thank you very much.
Hearing or seeing no councilors, we will put this in public safety.
Calendar item number 5, hearing called is ordered upon the application of 9 John Street LLC for a permit for a garage license to park 8 vehicles below a residential structure on Lot B3 at 473 Revere Beach Parkway.
Proponents, name and address for the record, please.
Joseph Bradford Hart, 41 George Avenue, Revere.
Could you just explain what's going on, sir?
Sure, absolutely. We're seeking permission to park part of the vehicles in a garage under the building. The garage is fully enclosed. It's a concrete part of the foundation. The building is fully equipped with automatic sprinkler systems, and the fire prevention systems have been already submitted and approved by Revere Fire Department. The plans for the building have been submitted to the building department and approved, and so we're seeking permission for the Chapter 148 to garage the vehicles.
Anything else, sir, for now?
I believe that's it. I believe that's it.
Are there any other proponents? Are there any other proponents? Are there any other proponents? Hearing or seeing none, we'll close that side of the hearing. Are there any sir? Well, could you come up and give us your name and address so we know what's going on, sir? Push the button on the... There you go.
Oscar Morales. I live on 10 Hillside Avenue, which if they build that garage, it's going to be like right in my front yard, and I don't think it's going to look good, you know. And if they park trucks there, fuel leaks, any can happen, you know. I just don't agree with that.
Understood, sir. Just so you know, it is a garage under a new building. It's not a separate garage. It's on. It's at 473 Revere Beach Parkway.
Yeah.
Now 10 is in the back up that paved road.
Yeah.
Up your long driveway.
Yeah.
You're up. So you're in the back house, right?
I'm behind 8 Hillside.
8. Okay. It's down below you. You know, I know. I've seen the plans. It is down below you, so you're going to be actually above it from where you are. So, but just so you know, I'm just filling you in. So, this will be put in committee, so we'll be talking about this again.
Okay.
So,
okay, thank you.
Just so you know. Okay, but we can talk offline.
When is the next meeting?
Probably be September 16th, I believe it is. Councilor, when's the 16th? It's the next meeting? Yeah, September 16th, Monday night, the third Monday.
September 16th?
I believe. Is that the third Monday? Yeah, if you call the clerk's office, they'll fill you in when the meeting is. They'll give you name and address.
Thank you. Mr.
Okay.
President.
Wait a minute, Joe. I want to just close the two sides of the
Oh,
hearing.
you did, okay.
And we'll discuss. Are there any other opponents? Are there any other opponents? Are there any other opponents? Hearing or seeing none, we'll call that side of hearing. Just so you know, this is in my ward, and it's on the Revere Beach Parkway at the base of Hillside Avenue, right at the edge of the bridge going on the Lee Burbank Highway. It's right, if anybody's gone by there, excuse me, they've seen the building has been demolished already, this two-family house that was there, and right now they're just waiting to do their foundation. The property is owned GB, so they are authorized to go up to 50 feet at that location without any variances. They are not asking for any other variances. The only reason they're here tonight is because the fire department has requested that they get this 148 license because there are 8 parking spaces under the building. So that's the issue there. Councilor Penta.
Mr. President, you basically answered my question. I mean, we're looking, this is not a building issue. It's a 148 license to have gasoline in your car. That's basically all it is. And I've always said, I don't know why this comes in front of this council. It should be the jurisdiction of the fire chief that allows this. I mean, we build garages, we build buildings, and all of a sudden people come from 148 after the building's built. So it's basically, it's not a construction issue. It's a, if your car didn't have gasoline in it, you wouldn't need this permit. But, and it's all indoors, correct? That's why you need a 148. Thank you.
Councilor Correggio.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sir, what type of trucks are going to be stored in this garage area?
Trucks.
I'm glad you asked, because I wanted to alleviate Mr. Morales' concerns. The height requirement would not allow trucks. So basically, this is just strictly for passenger vehicles. And also, there is an oil-gas separator in the event of a leak, which has already been submitted to MWRA and DEP. So all of that has already been done.
And it'll be fully sprinkled, right, the garage?
Correct.
Yeah.
And it has multiple heat detectors and strobes, sirens, pull stations, everything.
And have a fire department connection outside the building?
Yes, and it's already, the plans have already been submitted and approved by Revere Fire Prevention.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Councilor Zambudo.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have to agree with my colleague, Councilor Penta. I don't believe these should come before us. Perhaps we should put a change in. But it appears that this gentleman has done everything completely appropriately, and I wish you luck.
Well, that gentleman and lady, just so you know, that's why it's a Chapter 148, because it's state required. So we have to do it this way. Okay? So this will go into public safety, and we'll have that meeting on the 16th of September to discuss. Okay? Committee. Can I have a suspension of rules, please? Take out of order. All in favor? All opposed? Vote and so ordered. Katie.
Calendar item number 12, communication from Revere Cares relative to National Recovery Month proclamation.
Name and address and business for the record, please.
Good evening. My name's Katie Sugarman. I'm the Assistant Director of the Revere Cares Coalition at 300 Ocean Avenue in Revere. I'm here tonight just to encourage the fine members of our City Council to vote in support of proclaiming September of this year Recovery Month. We've been doing this since 2011, and the coalition believes that it's important that as a community we take the time to publicly encourage individuals to consider seeking treatment and recovery and remember the families among us who have been impacted by addiction. So the key events of Recovery Month, well, let me just mention that in 2010, almost 1,300 individuals from Revere alone sought treatment for substance use disorders, including alcohol, cocaine, and heroin, and other opioids. Unfortunately, we know that there are Revere residents who have lost their lives to addiction. Families all over this community are impacted by substance use, and it is important to let them know that they are not alone and that there are supports available to them. So the key events of Recovery Month this year will take place on September 29th. The 7th annual Revere Beach Memorial will take place at 7 p.m. at the William G. Rhinestein Bandstand, Rain or Shine. This event aims to remember those who have died from addiction, to give their loved ones an opportunity to gain strength from those who have shared a similar experience, and to give hope and encourage treatment to those struggling with addiction. All proceeds raised by the memorial go directly towards sustaining the event, supporting local substance abuse treatment programs, and providing funding for a scholarship for students at Revere High School who have been impacted by substance use and want to pursue higher education. And the 3rd annual Community Walk for Recovery will occur immediately before the memorial on the 29th and will culminate at the bandstand around 6:45 p.m. Revere middle and high school students will spread the message that they are above the influence of alcohol and other drugs, and they will encourage other young people all over Revere to remain above the influence of substances. Additionally, they will walk to show solidarity with those community members who are in recovery and who benefit from knowing that Revere residents support them in their efforts to remain sober. Details for the walk are in the process of being finalized and will be publicized in the coming weeks. By coming together as a community, we have a better chance of preventing addiction, saving lives by getting treatment for those who need it, and providing healing for families and friends who have lost loved ones. Thank you for your consideration in this matter.
Thank you, ma'am. And we need a vote on the resolution. You want to read the resolution, please, if we have it? Councilor Janino, Madam Vice President, sorry.
Thank you. I just wanted to speak on this really briefly. This is something that I've been a part of since I was in high school and a part of the group, and it's really a great event, especially for the high school students, and I was honored to be at it last year. And it really is important, and I know Lieutenant O'Hara with the Revere Police has also been really, really adamant about this and planned several different events. And it's a really nice event to see all of the kids in high school together, and they all wear their Power No and Above the Influence shirts. And it's a good chance to get together and talk, and they have recovering addicts at the event and all sorts of really helpful information. And I encourage the public to go because it's a really powerful ceremony, and you see a lot of people who are directly affected by this, and there's more in our community than you know. So I really, really encourage everyone, and thank you so much for making this a part of our city because it really is great. Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion to waive the reading, and we'll have a vote on roll call for the resolution.
That the City Council hereby proclaims National Recovery Month as September 2013. Councilor Arrigo?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Correggio?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Janino?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Haas?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Penta?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Reardon?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambuto?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. The proclamation has been approved.
Good luck. Return to regular order of business. All in favor, all opposed, vote so ordered.
Calendar item number 6, report of the zoning
Committee
subcommittee.
Councilor Reardon.
The zoning subcommittee took up 3 matters this evening at its August 26th meeting. First being C-1314, application by Joseph Prizio, 350 Squire Road, Revere, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to modify a non-conforming use from a fast food use to a truck rental use to enable the appellant to rent 10 U-Haul trucks at 350 Squire Road, Revere, Massachusetts. This matter was reported out favorably by the subcommittee with the note that Councilor Haas proposed a limit on the length of the permit, and I believe Councilor Haas is prepared to offer a further motion to the council this evening for consideration of this application.
Councilor Haas.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to amend this application to put a limit of a maximum of 3 years on the truck rental application. Without getting into the basic issue, I don't believe that going west to east on Squire Road, it's appealing to have a truck rental as you come into our city. And again, I understand that Ms. Pizio opened a place right next door who's doing extremely well as a gas station and a convenience store. And we'll give them 3 years really to find a tenant or lease or sell the property. And I think that's fair in our behalf. And speaking to the owner of the property, he agreed also. Thank you.
Councilor Zambudo on the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President, on the amendment. First of all, let me say up front, I'm not happy with this use. I don't like it. However, I believe that this probably should have been by right, this use. So I'm happy that Mr. Prizio agreed to this restriction, but I'm a little uncomfortable when something should be by right by putting a restriction on it. And I'll again say that I don't like the use at all, but what's fair is fair. Thank you.
You're probably right, Counselor, because I tend to agree with you. I believe we all have a hesitancy to allow this use, but the use is allowed by city ordinance. I would also like to make an additional amendment that the vehicles, the 10 vehicles that he is going to store on the property, be stored on the eastern side of the property to the rear of the property, and that he be allowed to parking stacking, as you want to call it, 2 vehicles in front of each other and side by side. And what's the name of that street on that side of the property, Larry? On Augusta Street side, that the vehicles be parked on the eastern side of the property. 10 vehicles within that little corner of the world. So that's my second amendment to it. On the First Amendment, for a 3-year limit on the special permit, all in favor? All opposed? It's a vote and so ordered. On the Second Amendment, on the parking requirement and restriction, as noted, all in favor? All opposed? It's a vote and so ordered. On the entire special permit, roll call.
Shall the City Council grant the relief requested for C-13-14, 350 Squire Road, subject to the conditions of the City Council? Councilor Rigo.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Correggio.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Janino.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Hass. Yes. Councilor Patch.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Penta.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Reardon.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambudo.
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Novoselsky.
Yes.
Yes. The special permit has been granted, subject to the conditions of the City Council.
In site plan review, the restrictions on site plan review are requirements? Okay. Vote and so ordered. You're welcome, Council. Good luck.
Mr. President, the second
Councilor Reardon again.
Second item before the zoning subcommittee was item C-13-15. This was a petition by Clear Channel Outdoor, 89 Maple Street, Stoneham, Massachusetts, seeking permission from the Revere City Council to modify an existing billboard to include 2 digital displays on Lot 2A at 4 Furlong Drive in Revere. This matter was the subject of some considerable discussion and some new information regarding the state's agreements with various other providers, including Clear Channel, and also some information regarding how other municipalities have dealt with this issue. For that purpose, for that reason, this matter will remain in the subcommittee. We have requested the city clerk to seek the advice and consent of the administration regarding this particular issue, and hopefully to find out what it is that we can do to make our decisions in regard to these billboards more in line with those of other communities and more acceptable to the to some of us residents who expressed a desire to eliminate some of the more traditional billboards while we were in the process of approving these. So that'll remain in subcommittee. Hopefully we'll get some cooperation from the administration and come up with some sort of a better plan for it. The last matter was CZ-13-03, which was a proposed ordinance regulating medical marijuana and substance abuse treatment centers. My understanding that the city planner who proposed this ordinance in the first place has changed his tact as to which of the various zoning areas under our zoning map is going to be these particular use. This particular use is going to be assigned under his proposed zoning change, ordinance change. And as much as he was not here this evening to explain his change of heart on this matter, in as much as I would seek an opinion from the city solicitor as to whether or not we can even vote on such a change without it having been advertised and heard in public, I ask, we're holding that in subcommittee as well.
So noted. Thank you, Council.
Calendar item number 7, report of the Ways and Means Subcommittee.
Councilor Rigo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier tonight, the Ways and Means Committee met on 2 items. First was number 13-122, an ordinance relative to certain persons not represented under Mass General Law, Chapter 150E, Section 10. And this was the ordinance that was sent to the council earlier this year with raises for some folks who do not, who are not represented by a union, and there are 3 sections of the ordinance. What the committee reported out favorably was one section, and Section 1, which would grant a 2% raise to the individuals who are not part of the collective bargaining process, and they will receive a 2% raise for fiscal years 12, 13, and 14. And the committee reported that out favorably. The rest of the ordinance will stay in committee.
On the recommendation of the Ways and Means Committee, roll call. Ordered to a second reading. All in favor? All opposed? Vote and so ordered. Third and final reading. All in favor? All opposed? Vote and so ordered. For engrossments and yeah, sure.
For engrossment and ordainment on Section 1 only, Councilor Rigo.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Correggio.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Janino.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Haas. Yes. Councilor Patch.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Penta.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Reardon.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambuto.
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Novoselsky.
Yes.
Yes. Section 1 has been engrossed and ordained.
Councilor Rigo, more.
Thank you, Mr. President. The second item on the agenda was number 13-169, the establishment of a revolving fund for employee training and public relations. The committee kept that in committee to have further discussion with the Director of Finance, and we'll do that sometime very soon in the next couple weeks. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor.
Calendar item number 8, report of the Appointment Subcommittee.
Councilor Guanasso.
Mr. President, earlier this afternoon, the appointment subcommittee met, and we had one item on the agenda. It was the reappointment of John DeLeo as on 41 Irving Street, Revere, as a constable. It was voted out favorably by the subcommittee, and I ask that this committee of the whole do the same. Thank you, Mr. President.
On the appointment of Mr. DeLeo, roll call.
Councilor Rigo.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Correggio.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Janino.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Guanasso.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Haas.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Patch.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Penta.
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Powers is absent. Councilor Reardon?
Yes.
Yes. Councilor Zambuto?
Yes.
Yes. And Council President Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. The appointment of John DeLeo as a constable has been confirmed. Calendar item number 9, communication from the mayor relative to the appointment of Nicholas Rystrom as city engineer for the city of Revere for a 3-year term.
And gentlemen, this and lady, this will go into the appointments committee for hopefully the next meeting, and the committee will come out with a affirmative recommendation. Next.
Calendar item number 10, communication from the city clerk relative to the warrant for the upcoming special state primary.
Place on file. All in favor?
Calendar item number 11, communication from Cheryl Rittridge relative to taxes and street sweeping.
Cheryl, just you know, this is something that is not on our agenda. It is on our rules that it has to be on an agenda approved by a city councilor. All we can do, we've read it. No, you're not, ma'am. You're not, ma'am. Under our rules, we don't have to. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. You're not. We don't have to let you speak. It's under our council rules, unless there is something on the table that is already being discussed by the city council. All we will do is place this on file, and it'll be on the council record. Yes, ma'am. Motion to place on file. So move.
Calendar item number 13, communication from the mayor requesting a residency waiver for Mr. Kevin Sheehan, library director.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will go into the appointments committee for the next meeting. Where is he? Kevin, where are you? Why don't you come up anyways? I just wanted everybody to know that you were here. This will be come up at the next meeting. Councilor Guanasso will have his appointments committee, and they'll interrogate you. Okay, and they will waterboard you. So just so you know that, and we appreciate your time and your patience on this, but we'll come up shortly. Push the button on the mic, please.
And when will that meeting be?
Probably
September 16th will be. Yes.
Right, Monday night.
Okay.
Third Monday. Okay. Next.
Calendar item number 14, communication from the mayor relative to the Unit C memorandum of agreement.
Ways and Means Committee.
Calendar item number 15, communication from the mayor relative to Mass DEP CY 2013 loan orders, DWSFT construction project number 3833 in the amount of $7,350,000, and DWSFT planning project number 3851 in the amount of $250,000.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will be ordered to a public hearing and then put into the Ways and Means Committee.
Calendar item number 16, communication from the mayor relative to a bond authorization in the amount of $1,750,000 for the Macharia versus City of Revere settlement.
This will also be ordered to a public hearing and then Ways and Means.
Calendar item number 17, communication from the mayor relative to Moody's Investor Service Report.
Anything from the councils on this? Do you want to see it in Ways and Means? Yeah. Ways and Means Committee.
On to motions. Calendar item number 18, motion presented by Councilor Penta, that the mayor request the State Traffic Division to post a no left turn sign on Short Beach on the second ramp on the Parkway at Endicott Avenue.
Councilor Penta.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you to the clerk, just a correction here, because everybody growing up in Beachmont knows is it of the first ramp. There's another ramp that's been put there, so I'm going to change it to the intersection of not taking a left on Endicott Ave, Winthrop Ave, or Crescent Ave. And the reason I want to do this, especially at least during the school hours, we get inundated from cars coming from Winthrop that are taking a left-hand turn on Crescent Ave, and it's getting to a point that the cars are backing up, probably 20, 30 cars from Benetton Street. So I'm just looking to alleviate some of the traffic problems on taking that left. It's just as easy if you go into Broadway Revere, Boston, wherever. Lee Burbank Highway is to go down to Elliott Circle and up over the bridge, so you can go either way that way. It's in the interest of public safety, for one, and two is when they start resanding the Winter Beach, which I'm not sure when that's going to happen, you're talking hundreds and hundreds of trucks going through that intersection that could cause quite an accident. So I'm looking for our traffic commission to look into it, to ask the state, which is a state road, they would have to okay it, and go from there. Thank you.
Any other councilors? Do we have any comments from Sergeant Giannino, since you're sitting out there on this?
If we're talking about putting it down on Winter Parkway, we're going to DCF for it there. Not even the Traffic Commission. Have to wait to DCF for that.
Sergeant, that's fine. Whatever way you see fit, whatever's easier to try to get this done. I'm looking for your help on it, and I appreciate that.
If you give me, I'll give you a call tomorrow. Go over what we want to do. I'll contact DCR, find out how to go about doing it the proper way.
Okay, thank
All
you.
right?
Thank you very much.
On the amended motion, all in favor, all opposed, vote so ordered.
Calendar item number 19, motion presented by Councilor Penta, that the mayor request the Traffic Commission to institute 2-hour parking from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Vinyl Street, from Broadway to Wilson Street.
If you can just put on the right side only on that. This was implemented, this been there for years. There's actually signage still there saying it. I heard that somebody has changed it. Why, I don't know. Signs are actually still up, but you can't read them because of the sun and it's just deteriorated. But I'm looking into the Traffic Commission to implement this back in again. Thank you.
On the amended motion, all in favor, all opposed, vote so ordered.
Calendar item number 20, motion presented by Councilor Novoselsky, that the City Council send a letter to the State Legislature in support and in favor of House Bill 1115 relative to the definition of low and moderate income housing. This is in regards to Massachusetts General Law 40B.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Ladies and gentlemen, this particular bill in the legislature, what it does is, as everybody knows on the 40B, we have a 10% limitation that we have to be at before anybody can come in and do a 40B housing scenario. So what this does, this includes mobile homes and first-time homeowner buyer homes to be included in that count. So I think this is the benefit of the city that we do this, and we show our support. And we did get a letter from the town of Wareham, from the councilors down there, asking us to be on board with this. And I did speak to the mayor. He is in support of this, and I think it'll be a good move to let our state delegation know that we're in favor of it. So, all in favor, all opposed, vote and so ordered.
Calendar item number 21, motion presented by Councilors Giannino and Guanasso, that the mayor request the Board of Health to take appropriate action to clean the premises located at 164 Revere Street, the North Shore Flower Exchange.
Councilor Giannino first.
Thank you. So this is a property that I've got several phone calls about, as well as noticed myself, and it really is a disgrace. The property's unkept, there are weeds everywhere, and coming from someone that knows the business, it's a lot of maintenance to have a flower shop, and it takes a lot of groundskeeping, and it just looks like it's not being done. And it's a gateway in our city. You know, people coming out of Boston are driving by there, people going into Boston are driving by there, and it really is a disgrace. And we're talking about all this beautification that we're doing in our community when that's one of the first properties that people are seeing when they drive in. So I definitely want to have this addressed as soon as possible, so some nicer looking structures can go in there, or at least clean up what's there, because it really is a safety hazard and a fire hazard. You know, if you have kids going by there at night, there's stuff everywhere, and it's just a disgrace. Thank you.
Councilor Guanasso.
Mr. President, we were sold a bill of goods when this individual came before us to put up a little like a greenhouse there, and it was going to be a quality place. It was going to be kept well, and it was going to be really a place to showcase. Since day one, the greenhouse put up, they absolutely, of the poorest quality, and the maintenance of the area has been a very poor quality. So I'm looking for some sort of common ground where we could get together with this individual to clean it up completely and to make it so that the people on the adjacent streets don't have to look with that debris. We've got Roadway Inn up the street that's doing all these wonderful things with the flower beds about and the landscaping. And here we have this individual. It's so unsightly, as Councilor Giannino has stated, that this is a presence that you go right through our community when you're exiting Boston. So I think it's something we should attend to and do it quickly.
Councilor Hess.
Thank you, Mr. President. About three and a half weeks ago, I was going to Furious with my wife, and she commented to me about how bad the area looked. It was deplorable. An outsider coming into Revere and taking advantage of the city. I then called Nikki Canizano, Inspectional Service Director, and Nikki assured me that he would take quick action. But I'm glad that Council has put the motion, and it just reinforces my opinion that it should be cleaned up immediately. Thank you.
Councilor Correggio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I support the two councilors, Giannino and Granasso. That area there, it's just a complete disgrace. There's a lot of rotted dead wood, hay, and overgrown grass. You know, and we're trying to clean up the city health-wise. I mean, we don't have a rat problem or an insect problem, and you can end up with a problem down there if it's not addressed. So we need some immediate action for the area down there, and I commend Giannino and Granasso for putting the motion in, and I support it. Thank you.
On the motion, all in favor, all opposed, vote and so ordered.
Calendar item number 22, motion presented by Councilor Guanasso, that the mayor request the Traffic Commission to amend Schedule 4, Title 10, isolated stop signs by adding Davis Street for traffic entering onto Patriot Parkway.
Mr. President, as you know, I love
Councilor
going before the Traffic Commission because I get so much favorable results from them. But, I just think that this is very necessary based on the fact that Davis Street now is used as a cutoff street. You're cutting through Davis Street in great numbers for the public safety alone. A stop sign at the end of Davis Street before you enter onto a Patriot Parkway would be a safe position for all our community, and so I hope that the Traffic Commission sees likewise and they do this as quick as possible. And I know I have my dear friend Officer Sergeant Giannino, who's out there, who readily stand by my side when I'm up there plea bargaining before traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. President.
On the motion, all in favor, all opposed, vote and so ordered.
Calendar item number 23, motion presented by Councilor Haas, that the mayor request the Traffic Commission to recalibrate the traffic lights at Broadway and Central Ave and Broadway and Park Ave to alleviate the traffic congestion caused by the advanced green light given to traffic turning onto Central Ave from Broadway.
Councilor Hess.
Thank you, Mr. President. Everyone assumed that if you would have the green light going up Central Ave, it's going to alleviate the problem. But if you're coming out from Park Ave, it creates a complete bottleneck there. Every time I come down there, whether it's early in the morning, in the afternoon, it's traffic gridlock both ways. Matter of fact, even tonight coming, it took me 7 to 10 minutes just to get through that grid. So something has to be recalibrated at that time. Thank you.
Madam Vice President.
Thank you. I want to support the councilor on this motion, especially if we're looking at putting a new school in that area. You're going to have twice the traffic, and especially during peak hours of the day. So it's definitely something that needs to be addressed. And I was almost late for the meeting because of that light, so I'm definitely in favor. So I
Councilor Reardon.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to offer a friendly amendment to this motion. While it certainly addresses a very serious issue, since that light's been changed, we haven't addressed the entire issue, which is that intersection being one of the major intersections in the city of Revere, has been approached with a piecemeal fix. What needs to be done, it needs to be properly signed, and the lines in the street have to be properly designed so that people know where they're going when they go through that intersection. And as far as I'm concerned, while changing the light will be to allow traffic to continue flowing northward and clear that lane of traffic for traffic turning from Park Avenue will be helpful. it's still not going to prevent people who go in a southerly direction from not knowing whether they should stay in that lane to take the left turn, whether they ought to continue through, where they can go to take a right turn to Park Ave. It's just, it's really very difficult. And I'd offer a friendly amendment to have the entire intersection looked at and redesigned for the purposes of allowing for more efficient traffic flow, as I have moved this council for the last 4 years. Thank you.
Councilor Hess, that friendly amendment? Absolutely. No problem. On the friendly amendment, all in favor, all opposed, vote and so ordered.
Calendar item number 24, motion presented by Councilor Patch, that the mayor request the DPW sign department to install no parking on sidewalk signage on the poles at 15 Loomis Street. Vehicles park on the sidewalk in such a manner that the residents at this location are unable to use their front gate, walkway, and driveway.
Councilor Patch.
It really speaks for itself, Mr. President, but you know, they could just tag for parking, but he wants to be a good neighbor, and hopefully the signs will stop them from parking there. I mean, we could just send the police down and tag it for parking on the sidewalk without the sign, but I think it'd be a good idea to put the signs up. Thank you.
On the motion, all in favor, all opposed, vote and so ordered.
Calendar item number 25, motion presented by Councilor Powers, that the mayor, in the interest of public health and safety, request the Essex County Mosquito Control to cut the marsh grass in the Oak Island and Lower Revere Street areas. In its present condition, the marsh grass constitutes a public health issue, mosquitoes, and a public safety issue, potential for fire.
Councilor Powers.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is something that we normally do every year. I would just like to see it get done a little faster. Lower Revere Street, Oak Island, there's a great potential down there for mosquitoes nesting in that high grass or even a fire. The good news is that very soon we're going to be starting a restoration of the marsh. Certain sections of the marsh we're going to be starting down in Oak Island and hopefully complete the whole marsh at some point and get it back to its original contour. That will more than likely eliminate the need for cutting this grass every year and also eliminate the mosquito problem down there. So I'll be putting more information out on that very shortly to the people in Oak Island and Lower Revere Street so that they're well aware of what's going on. Thank you, Mr. President.
On the motion, all in favor, all opposed, vote and so ordered.
Calendar item number 26, motion presented by Councilor Powers, that the mayor request National Grid of Verizon to remove the double pole at the corner of Gilbert Ave and North Shore Road.
Councilor Powers.
Mr. President, we dealt with that earlier this evening, and the motion speaks for itself, and I believe Verizon is going to be taking care of that very quickly. Thank you.
On the motion, all in favor, all opposed, vote and so ordered. Late motion. Yep. For what? Yeah.
Late motion presented by Councilor Correggio, that the mayor request either Mass Highway or the DPW to pick up trash in and around the on-ramp to the Linway at North Shore Road.
Councilor Correggio.
Thank you, Mr. President. Add Ward 5 Councilor Powers to that motion. I got a call towards the end of the day from a resident complaining about people stopping before they go out to the General Edwards Bridge, dropping paper cups and rubbish before they enter the highway. So that needs to be addressed. We don't want to use that as a dumping ground, that area, so it needs to be addressed for a cleanup. Thank you.
On the motion, all in favor, all opposed, vote and so ordered. Late communication.
Late communication from Robert Mahoney relative to the abandonment of a certain portion of Walnut Street described as Parcel G, 2,122 square feet for the purpose of developing a cul-de-sac.
There's a public hearing. If I may, I'd like to put in a verbal motion if everybody knows or doesn't realize, we are entering the 50th anniversary of the Vietnam War. And I would like to put a motion in that the mayor pursue being designated as a commemorative city for the 50th anniversary for the Vietnam War. And I will be checking in with Nick Boer, but with this, the requirement is that we have 2 events in 2 years, and this will be actually a 13-year program of commemoration equal to the same number of years of the war. So once we do that, we will have a flag flown on the front flagpole with the American flag, and we hope that this will continue, and Revere will be one of the first cities in Massachusetts to be designated. So, and may I also state that we request state legislature to work on having them designate, and the governor designate the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as a commemorative state.
Good motion.
Any comments on the motion? All in favor, all opposed? Vote and so ordered. Being no further business, we will see you on September 16th. Have a happy and healthy Labor Day. To my Jewish compatriots, Happy New Year, and Happy Yom Kippur coming up next week. Thank you very much.